Hi folks, I'm Richard Friedman and welcome to my Trump cartoon countdown. Today, Monday, December 28th, 2020, counting down the days, the last days of 2020, going into 2021. Can't wait to start my new book, the greatest book of the Joseph R. Biden presidency, starting up on January 21st, 2021. So winding down my Trump series, and I'd like to show you the 3 books I've written thus far, and they're available. You could, on my website, you could just link up to Amazon. It's Richard's Books of Political Cartoons.com. No spaces, small letters, and no apostrophe on the Richards. Just plain, like a whole bunch of Richards Books of Political Cartoons.com. And this was the first book that I did here, which covered the 2016 election and the up to 2018 through 2017, 2018 of the issues of the Donald J. Trump presidency in cartoons. It's like an encyclopedia of cartoons. Just go down. I don't want to get into this because we have cartoons of today, so I'll just show you an idea of what from the past, like a blast from the past. There's Rudy Giuliani, he was always in there. There's Rudy. There's Mueller. And there's Mr. Magoo, his former Attorney General, Sessions. Okay. Here's Russian President Putin on the phone with President Trump. Here's a National Security Advisor on a helicopter over the White House. Here's his White House Chief of Staff, ex-White House Chief of Staff. And what he's doing here is, well, anyway, you find out when you want to have a look at the book. Here. Here's Trump throwing out paper towels on one of his trips. Oh, I think I showed you that. I like to try, every time I show you the book, I like to come up with different cartoons. So here's Energy Secretary Perry, who tried to abolish he was advocating for the abolishment of the Energy Department before he became Secretary of Energy. So that was good, it looked good on his resume, trying to abolish the department. And there's a guy who was recently pardoned by President Trump. Steve Bannon. Here's Trump going on the Titanic saying, directing third-class passengers to the lower deck to evacuate the lifeboats. All third classes and steerage passengers report to the lower deck for if you are gathering water. First class passengers come up to the front desk to get your lifeboat. You know, there's the iceberg. You know? So, okay. There's some Democrats. There's Colin Powell. Even got the Pope in there. Bernie Sanders. Oh, here's when the Pope turned down Bernie Sanders. He said he didn't want to speak to Bernie Sanders because he figured Bernie Sanders didn't have much of a chance to become president. I get, well, you know, whatever. So he said, Bernie, if you are elected, and Bernie is persisting, he's going to be elected president back then. So Bernie, if you are elected president, when you die, you will be canonized as Saint Bernie for this miracle. See, that's what he's saying. So yeah, when he's saying he's going to be elected president. So, and then Bernie responds by saying, he can't be canonized because anyway because he's allergic to gunpowder. So anyway, that's some jokes I threw in there. So that was the election of 2016 and going into 2018. This is the first 2019 book I did, edition 1, January through June. And here's here. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, there's Kim Jong-un testing a missile with Trump. There's Trump driving a migrant busing migrants. Here's Trump on the phone with Putin, President Trump talking to each other from their offices. Here's Dick Cheney. Brought back Dick Cheney for a symbolic reason here in this one. When they sent the aircraft carrier, Lincoln, yeah, it was a Lincoln, to Straits of Hormuz to try to rattle up things a little bit, I guess. Nothing came of it, but they took the trip. And there was somebody just wanted to provoke an incident. They could get out on a boat and start shooting. So symbolically, I chose Dick Cheney, given the history. So anyway, here's Nixon, comparisons with Nixon. Here's Trump. Well, I showed you that. That I showed before. Okay. Here's Mulvaney with Trump. Mick Mulvaney. Okay, and that was the second book, and this was the last book I did, the second half of 2019, second edition from July to December. Okay. Here's the Vice President Pence on the golf course. It's a familiar picture we've seen a lot of lately. President Trump on the golf course. Here's Nixon again saying to Trump, "Remember one thing, never let those bastards get the audio tapes." You know, Ghost of Nixon returns. Here's Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham. Here's the unknown. The unknown, they want to keep him secret on the show, so they put a bag over his head. From the State Department, he didn't want to be identified. They didn't do that, but I symbolically drew that. Okay. Here's 60 Minutes. I did a thing on 60 Minutes with Rudy Giuliani. 60 Real Minutes, I called it. Here's Rudy Giuliani on an airplane. Okay. Here's Zoltar. I did a lot of things with Zoltar commercials. Remember them? They since took them off, but I used to do a lot of predictions with Zoltar, the fortune teller. So Trump going up to say hello to Zoltar. So anyway, that was the third book, and this is the title cover of my new book coming out sometime in the middle of January, I hope. So this is the cover of the book. The greatest 2020 book of political cartoons on issues of the Donald J. Trump presidency. And this is all one book from 2020. This I didn't break into because I figured that we're going to go out, we're going to put it all together for 2020. And sure enough, there were a lot of issues in 2020 which I never could have dreamed of when I made that decision. So this is a cover of that. I took this particular cartoon and made it the cover for the cover page, because I felt that it showed the contrast and what was going on here. It was an interesting snapshot of what went on at that debate between President Trump and now President-elect Biden. There it is. Okay. Okay. So now let's get to the top 9, the countdown for today, and here we go. And this is again December 28th, 2020, Trump cartoon countdown up to date. December 20. I'm jumping ahead. Can't wait to get to January. December 28th, 2020. Okay. So this is a cartoon I actually finished up a few minutes ago. So I don't really know how it's going to do, but I threw it in because I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty funny. Let's look at it that way. So here, I'll show you what this is about. This is in the wake of President Donald Trump on December 22nd and 23rd, putting his signature on nearly 50 eyebrow-raising pardons and commutations, and given in the eyes of the Republican Senator Ben Sayers, the pardons were, quote, he said this word for word, rotten to the core, and he's a Republican. He said it. So here's a death row inmate in a federal prison seeking a president, doing something to get a presidential pardon from President Trump he thought he might like. So I had him making a pillow, says, stop the steal, in this death row inmate section, and here he goes, stop the steal, and then the security guard comes by and he sees him with that pillow that he's looking at, and he says to him, keep that stop the steal pillow for your bed. Trump's my pillow guy has a plan to overturn the election. So that's the truth. He does have a plan to overturn the election. My pillow. He also had he was the first one to come up with a vaccine for the coronavirus. The first, before Pfizer, before Moderna, before the other two now we have, whatever. And so he was the first. My pillow man was the first. My pillow guy was the first one to come to say he had the vaccine ready to go. So now he has a plan to overturn the election. So it's true. He said he had a plan to do that. So his security guard got word of that. So he's conveying it to him. He says, don't forget about sending that pillow to President Trump, because he already has a pillow guy who's working for him. So that's basically the cartoon right there. There it is. Okay. Now moving along, we're going down to number 1. We're going down, so we've got a ways to go. There are about 8 left to go. So we go down to number 1. That's the countdown, going down to the number 1 cartoon. Like Casey Kasem years ago in New York used to do the top 30. That's the same concept here, going down to number 1, numero uno. So here's a one. They're all, this in terms of most popular on Twitter and through the gauges of Twitter. So anyway, here's Trump in his throne chair, sitting in front of the White House, in his throne chair. And he's Trump throne chair. Given the president has said he would leave the White House if the Electoral College votes for President-elect Joe Biden, and given reportedly up to the president has floated not leaving the White House on January 20th, Inauguration Day, and is convinced he actually won the election. You decide. So I actually put that in the cartoon. You decide what he's going to do. But here, I just symbolic a throne chair, President Trump on the throne chair, making his, sitting there with his, that's President Trump, on the throne chair in front of the White House. Okay. Now, this is I just came up with this idea, bar mitzvah, So I kind of put it all together here with this one, and I said it like this. This is not Bar's bar mitzvah, but I'll show you how it works out. Okay, Bar's bar mitzvah present from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer as the Attorney General submits his resignation letter. He submitted his resignation letter, which was sparked moments after President-elect Joe Biden's victory over Trump was formalized by the Electoral College. So moments after President Trump saw that, he tweeted, the President Trump tweeted that Barr would be handing in his resignation. Moments after that was finalized. And that also followed weeks of clashes between Barr and the President, and Attorney General Barr and the President. So here is Chuck Schumer, and he's giving him a farewell present, basically. There's the Justice Department here, and we're going to get into the story on this one. So here's the story. Okay, this was December 23rd, 2020. And here's Chuck Schumer, and here's Barr. Here's the rabbi. Here's the president, wrapped up. Okay, and he's saying, this, okay, I can't do both at the same time, show it to you and read it. But here we go. These solid gold cufflinks are presented to Attorney General William Barr for his years of devoted service to the Department of Justice. One thing, Bill, don't look for the tie clip. You see, don't look for the tie, there's no tie clip there. I have been wearing it since this rabbi gave the set to me for my own bar mitzvah back in November of 1963. So he would have been 13 years old, Chuck Schumer, in November of 1963, born in November of 1950. Never liked the cufflinks. So he's given away the cufflinks that have been lying around all these years, and he was wearing the tie clip. I actually had an incident like, I got that, from my own experience. When I was bar mitzvah, I was 13 years old, and a heavy lady came up to me, and she said, basically, I have a nice present for you in a package. I took it home. I'm just seeing, there it was, these cufflinks, and the gold cufflinks with no tie clip. And the thing about it, I remember just like it was yesterday, opening it up, and I see the cufflinks. They had like, it wasn't like the cufflinks where you put the thing in and you turn it. No, these were like little, it had like a rings, like a chain, a small little chains. So you had to put the thing in, put the thing out, and it would never stay fastened because it was with chains. So I never liked those cufflinks. I never wore them, and there was no tie clip. So they stayed in the box, you know. So that's the story on that one. So that's how I kind of just remembered that as a, you know, as sort of like a double-sorted gift in a way. And this is the rabbi, his rabbi, giving Barr, standing by to you know, with his presentation of him giving him the gift that he got for his own bar mitzvah way back. So it's called Bar's bar mitzvah present. You know, I'm not saying Barr got bar mitzvah. I'm saying this is his bar mitzvah present that he got from Chuck Schumer, the House Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Okay. Wait. No. House Majority Leader Nancy Pelosi. It's the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. He's the Senate. Chuck Schumer is the Minority Leader of the Senate, and Nancy Pelosi is the House Leader. Okay, she's the House Leader of the House, Nancy Pelosi, and this is from House. This is from Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. Okay, I think I said that here. Yeah. So yeah, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. There. Okay. Now, this is one that was. This is another funny thing. This is Laurel and Hardy. Those of you who are old enough to remember them, you might not have to be that old because they show their reruns on a lot. There's Laurel, and there's Hardy. Laurel, Hardy. Okay, now what's happening here is Putin watches reports hours after Trump's Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said that Moscow was behind the vast cybersecurity breach. The president suggested that the true culprit may be China. December 21st, 2020. So there's Putin watching it with Stalin in the background, and Stalin he's kind of reflecting alongside the picture of Stalin, seeing this, reacting to Trump saying basically that it wasn't Russia. They've confirmed all of the best of it to our intelligence abilities. They feel they haven't got I don't think they have the 100% proof, but all the dots line up that it was Russia. That's what they're saying now. So they haven't come out and said 100%, but the dots are lining up there consistently. So President Trump said, well, it could be China. So anyway, so what's happened here is that Secretary of State Mike Pompeo already came out and declared that it was China, and Trump is saying, declared that it was Russia. So the Secretary of State Mike Pompeo declared, yes, it was Russia. He basically said that. So that's how the degree of certainty that they have, and he's the Secretary of State, privy to all the intelligence and all that. So anyway, so Trump is conflicting, he's contradicting his own Secretary of State. So Putin is taking off on this in terms of putting down democracy in his own way, and here's his stake. And here you have Laurel and Hardy. They're basically repairing a roof, and Laurel is driving away with the ladder as Laurel is driving away with the ladder as Hardy was putting up the roof here on the building. You see, there's a roof he was going to put on, and he just drove away with the ladder, giving him a ride before he on his car because it's just like two hands working against each other, Stan Laurel, not Oliver Hardy. Okay, there's Stan Laurel, and there's Oliver Hardy. Stan Laurel driving the car, and Stan Laurel, the roof repairer, with the piece of the roof, the segment of the roof with his hammer, and he was doing that, and he started driving away. He wanted a sandwich, so he took off with Hardy before. So here's Putin, his thoughts. Das Democracy, like a Laurel and Hardy comedy, where one guy fixes a roof while the other drives away with his ladder to get a sandwich. So there it was. There's Stalin in the background, and there's Russian President Putin, and one last shot of Laurel and Hardy with the hammer and the shingle, probably a roof shingle, let's put it that way, a shingle from the roof that he was going to put on. There they are. Okay. Now, here's President Trump, and this goes on the same theme as that. President Trump watches news that suspected Russian government hackers are behind the hackers of multiple U.S. government agencies, including the cyber arm of the Department of Homeland Security, which is pretty sobering that they went into the Homeland Security, the cyber arm, which could mean they want to disable or screw up that which is our eyes to what's going on in the world. Given at this point the president has remained silent about this grave, massive data breach and appears to be focused instead on his unproven claims of widespread voter fraud in the presidential election. This was December 18th, 2020. So he's focusing on the election, basically. President Trump is now. And he's saying, there they go again with that Russia, Russia, Russia bullshit. He actually said that after, he did say Russia, Russia after I had written this. So anyway, they are just afraid we will find their undetectable fraud, but we will stay focused on the election. That's what he's basically saying here, because we don't, this is all, fake news, So anyway, watching the news of that. Okay. Okay. Okay, now, here, we're getting up there now in terms of popularity. We're getting there, number one, on our way. So here is an interesting thing here where we have these Republican leaders. See if you can recognize them. Okay? I'm not going to tell you who they are, but I like, you could, I'm sure you can pick them out here. In front of the Capitol, and a statue of President Trump, and they're praying to President Trump for him to sign this bill, basically, this relief package bill, for a COVID relief package bill. So Republican leaders pray to a statue of Donald Trump on the steps of the Capitol building, symbolizing their silence as the president hints he won't sign the COVID relief bill without massive changes. He wanted to up it to $2,000 per individual. Given lawmakers linked the pandemic relief bill to a broad fundraising measure that, if not signed or overridden, would shut down the government on December 29th. But this is not going to happen now because the president did sign the bill, just signed it last night. You know, he got off the golf course and, okay, oh, here's the bill. Let's get back to golf. You know, that kind of, you know, it was a good move. Maybe you got a good score, you know, on golf. So, okay, I'll sign it. So anyway, yeah, putting Republican lawmakers in the position of having their passed bill held hostage by the president. So people are saying, well, if President Trump was so concerned about the $2,000, he saw what was going on there, he saw what was coming down, he should have been in on the action, and he should have been right in there focused. Well, you're wasting your time with this bill because you bring it to my desk, I got $2,000, I ain't going to sign it. So, okay, then you work something out, you do this, or that. And another thing was that the bill, they put it all together. It wasn't like they took the one bill and put it for, you know, for this country or that country, and they said, okay, it was all together, as this would have been separate, but they just lumped it together to get it done quicker for the people. So President Trump, he kind of made it sound like it was a giveaway, you know, basically like they were giving $100 million to the Mickey Mouse Club, you know. I mean, he didn't say Mickey Mouse Club, but that's what he was basically saying. They're giving $100 million to the Mickey Mouse Club, figuratively, in pointing out these different countries and different, you know, or charities or whatever that the money was going for. So I saw a lot of people got all pissed off about it, thinking this was a deal that they worked out. We'll give you this and that. So it wasn't that way. It was pre-planned. This was already pre-planned and was approved by the White House. Everything that was in that President Trump mocked had already been approved by his own White House, which he's then mocking his own White House, and he's mocking the fact that they're doing $2,000. They're not doing $2,000, which if he would have been in on it from the get-go, he didn't have to wait to the point where it exploded, and so, you know. So I give you the facts and make it as good as I can get them, and the jokes as funny as I can make them. But you decide, folks. This is up to you to decide. I never like to try to convince people, you know, which way to think politically or anything. Anyway, so I give you the facts and the funniest jokes I can think of, and you make the call, as I always say. So there they are. Okay. Now we're getting down here. Well, coming close to numero uno. Okay, now here we got President Trump very angry here at Kevin McCarthy now. You know, who's been a big ally of the president, you know. He was pushing for the election to be redone, and this and that, but he couldn't go for that $2,000 in the House. He is the House Minority Leader. And he said, no way, we ain't going to do $2,000. So President Trump got a little upset, and here he is being upset at Kevin McCarthy, the House Minority Leader, Kevin McCarthy. Okay, and here, Trump watching news on a Wednesday, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy told fellow Republicans that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's swift attempt to pass the president's demand to pass a bill boosting stimulus repayments for individuals in 2000 will fail. So naturally, I mean, the Democrats, I don't know what to say. They jumped on the Trump bandwagon and said, okay, he wants $2,000, we'll give him the $2,000. So they wanted to pass a situation that everybody had to vote unanimously to make it pass. So beforehand, before everything was, he said right up front, McCarthy came in, I ain't gonna do it. So because they had to choose here between Republican values and the Trump I don't know what to say, the Trump view or strategy, whatever you want to call it. So he had to choose. So he made the call to not to go along with Trump and to turn down the $2,000. You know, it's like a high noon situation. You know, it's like high noon. That's what it really was, high noon. So you saw those people who saw that movie when the train was coming into town and look at the 12. You see 12 o'clock and the clock is striking 12. When these guys with Gary Cooper and coming into town, you know. So anyway, there we go here. So what happens here is, okay, so there is Trump getting pissed off, and he's putting it into a shredding machine, his picture, and he's saying, bye, Kevin, and he's saying, there he is. This boost in COVID relief payments was a rally call to overturn the election, to get Dems with me against this frauded election. Kevin McCarthy, I will never forget your F***ing disloyalty. Okay? And there it says, here it is, Trump 2020, and here he's doing his coded message, you know, and he's right in there. He's writing in Trump he's writing in Trump country. You know, he's right in the heart, like deep in the heart of Texas, or he's deep in the heart of Trump country, and he's saying no to Trump's $2,000. So that means one thing: he goes in the garbage can. But anyway, Trump did sign it. So you know, it's like in a way, all's well ends well. You know, like Leave It to Beaver. You know, all's well ends well. Anyway, I remember Leave It to Beaver. So. We're coming down now. So here we got now. This is a lot of people really like this one. Trump, former and recently pardoned National Security Advisor Michael Flynn watches the president calling for lawmakers to amend the pandemic relief package that was passed by Congress on Monday, calling on Congress to increase the $600 stimulus payments contained in the bill to $2,000 per person. Okay. So this we just talked about. Going on to suggest that his administration might be the next administration. This is the catcher. You see, this is the whole thing here. Okay, it's one thing if you say, okay, I want $2,000, but I didn't give a damn right before, but now I changed my mind all of a sudden, you know? It's like a, you know, like saying, okay, it's the last second, I changed my mind, you know? Okay, but now you're saying something different here. You're saying, to suggest his might be the next administration. You see, and we will get it done. Going on to suggest that his administration might be the next administration despite his loss to President-elect Joe Biden. So he suggested here that his administration might get it done, you know, next time around when he's president again, after Joe Biden, the Electoral College and everything like that has been certified as president-elect. He's picking his own cabinet, everything on the works, and everything. The democracy is holding up to the stress test that it was given, and democracy is holding up. But he's saying no, no. I still might be the next president. So then I had here. This is Michael Flynn, who was pardoned by President Trump. You know. And then Michael Flynn, Trump already fired Michael Flynn for lying to Vice President Pence about his discussions or relationships with the Russians. So he pardoned him, you know, I guess Vice President Pence forgave him also, you know, and they all had a few drinks together to forget about the whole thing, you know, what the hell, you know, bygones be bygones. So anyway, so here I said, Mr. President, just give me a tank division to declare, because Michael Flynn has been very adamant about using the military force to go into those states, those battleground states, 4 battleground states that where the president is contesting the election, to redo the election and to nullify the existing results. So he was very adamant about that, Michael Flynn, General Michael Flynn. So he's got some pull with the military, I guess, and he certainly has pull with President Trump. So anyway, I don't think he has pull with the military, but I take that back. But he has pull with President Trump. So anyway, so here we go. Mr. President, just give me a tank division to declare martial law and seize voting machines in those swing states, and Rudy Giuliani will hijack a FedEx truck, and we will get it done. And see, that's what he said here. My next stroke, he says here, I am asking Congress to send me, this is President Trump, word for word here. I am asking Congress to send me a suitable bill, or else the next administration will have to deliver a COVID relief package, and maybe that next administration will be me, and we will get it done. So here he is in the bottom line here, and we will get it done with Rudy Giuliani hijacking a FedEx truck, and the tanks of Michael Flynn coming in, General Michael Flynn coming into those states to see everybody's cool about this. So anyway, that was my cartoon, Michael Flynn in a tank, giving thumbs up to President Trump there. Okay. There's a lot of people like that one. Okay, again, I'm just making jokes and giving you the facts. You decide. Okay. All right, now here's numero uno de la semana. Number 1, everybody really like this. Okay, this is Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, SpaceX dream. Because this lady, McConnell already, he said when the electoral, he was saying, well, we got to see what happened to the electoral college. I ain't going to say nothing. He was quiet while President Trump was disputing the election, and after the results were in, he says after the electoral college determined the final outcome, Mitch McConnell got on board with the fact that President-elect Biden will become President of the United States on January 20th, 2021. So now here you have this lady injecting herself into the picture here. She's a lawyer, and she is well, here we go. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, SpaceX dream about conspiracy theorist lawyer Sidney Powell. Rocket trip to Mars. Now, SpaceX has a plan to go to Mars. They do have a very ambitious plan to go to Mars, and I don't think they have a plan to take people there yet, but this lady might, in his dream, he dreamt that she would be in the plan, you know. So, given Powell had been appearing at the White House recently like a devout, this lady was appeared like 3 days in a row, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, or something like that, over the weekend. She was appearing. I wrote this in my own. Sidney Powell, rocket trip to Mars. Given Powell had been appearing at the White House recently like a devout Elvis fan, returning to the Graceland Museum in Memphis. So she was going back like the White House was Memphis, was the Graceland Memphis mansion of Elvis Presley, and she was a very big fan of President Trump. And she couldn't get away from that White House mansion like it was Elvis's place, and going back to Elvis Presley when some people go to the mansion there, and that's what she was basically in the shoes of a fan who was so so involved with Elvis, and now she's involved with President Trump as as the king of rock. Well, President Trump is in her mind the king of the United States. You know, Elvis was the king of rock. They called him the king. They called him the king of rock. And President Trump, in her mind, he's the king of the United States. So there's the kind of relationship. So there she goes. He's dreaming. So here he is asleep. Here's Mitch McConnell asleep, and he's having this dream. And here she goes in SpaceX, going up to Mars, and that's the dream. This is Sidney Powell here, flying up in a spaceship, the first lady, the first person in the whole world that is going to visit Mars. You know, you know. There it goes. Okay, so, and given following Joe Biden's victory in the Electoral College, McConnell acknowledged Biden as the vice president-elect, and given Trump had discussed naming Sidney Powell as special counsel on election fraud. Now, Trump has gone beyond seeing her as an ally. He's putting her into a legal position as being special counsel, doing the investigation into his supposedly unproven election fraud that all the courts in the United States have thrown out. So she's going to perhaps go back to all these courts and try to re-argue the case for President Trump, and that she's the special counsel, and they have talked about it. And further, Powell has reportedly pitched a plan to seize voting machines in support of an effort to overturn the election. So she and Michael Flynn basically were on the same page. Only I don't know if she went as far as to say the military. She left that to Flynn to handle the military. She was handling the legal aspect of it. So that's basically the nuts and bolts of that. And there she goes. And there's Mitch McConnell. I used to call him sing along with Mitch, because he sings along with everything that the president says, and he had been singing along up to now. So I'm not going to call him sing along with me. I'm just using that as a footnote to say his history as me calling him sing along Mitch. So there was Mitch McConnell. There was a show, Sing Along with Mitch, back in the early '60s. The guy with a beard, and he used to go like this, and everybody used to sing along with his orchestra. So then they call it Sing Along with Mitch. So that's where I got that from. So anyway, so here is she going. She's going up, and here she's going, and here's Mitch McConnell dreaming, having his dream. You know, he looks like he might be getting a little smile there coming through, and she's going up to Mars. Okay, folks, I want to thank you very much for watching my Trump cartoon countdown, and I wish you all the safest and the best for 2021 coming up. And remember, New Year's Eve, keep it low. You know, don't go. I know everybody likes to go out New Year's Eve. I remember when I lived in New York City. I'm from the Bronx. I used to go down every New Year's Eve to down there, and we watched the ball drop. You know, we were doing snowstorms, and the worst snowstorm that along in 1966, a bad snowstorm. I was down there and watching that ball drop. But you got to just do the right thing and stay around for the next. You think of the years to come. Think of 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 20, 28. Think of those years. Okay? So I want to thank you very much, folks. You take care of yourself, and God bless America. Bye.